What's going on, everyone? I hope you all are doing well. I thought I would come on real quick for about 5 minutes and just talk about why what once worked may not be working anymore. That could mean financially, your job. You could feel like a lot of resistance right now. You could feel tension, all these kinds of things. And as somebody who used to do this, I used to take on other people's tension and used to feel it for them so that they didn't have to go through it. And it's really actually doing you a disservice and actually doing the opposite to the other person. It's doing them a huge disservice by you taking on their stuff. So the thing that I will tell you is that we're going through a very intense time right now, which is we're going through a big shift. And that shift is basically all the foundations that people have sort of set for the last like 20 years ish, maybe a little longer. It's no longer working. So how you used to make money, or how you used to find relationships, or how you used to do, how you used to take care of yourself in terms of your health, how you used to hold on to certain relationships or friendships, and there maybe you're letting things go. There's a lot of things that are kind of we can't really push things down anymore, right? Things are just kind of coming out and coming up. So you can't be afraid. My advice to you is don't be afraid of doing things differently. uh, it's funny because you know how people always say like, "Oh, I'm working my ass off," or "I'm working really, really hard." And why don't you try things differently? Maybe don't work so hard, or don't work your ass off, quote unquote. What if things just came naturally? Like the other last couple of weeks, things have just kind of becoming coming to me naturally, and I haven't really had to put much effort into it. And it's really because I'm in my zone. I'm in my flow. I'm in. I love what I'm doing, and a lot of times people get stuck because they are doing things that don't actually fulfill them, right? So when you do things that don't fulfill you, you get burnt out over time. And even though you're doing the mundane thing of going to work, going to the 9 to 5, etc., and you say you love your job, if you love your job but you get burnt out quickly, it's either you're working with someone who is pulling energy from you, you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing, or you need to kind of maybe do a rehaul and relook at things and just pivot a little bit, right? I'm very used to this because the last 20 years of my life, I've had to make a lot of changes and shifts in my life. So for me, these things have like now I see things kind of happening with people all over, with clients and things like that. And it's a very, everyone's being very dramatic and kind of angry. And there's a lot of frustration out there. And the reason why is you're not crazy. The reason why these things are happening for us is because it's the universe, it's God, it's showing us, okay, we can't do things like this anymore. So if you have a sudden, you suddenly get rid of your job, or you suddenly let go of a friend or a relationship, or you're suddenly starting to like take a stand for yourself, it really comes down to the fact that the reason why you're taking a stand is because what once worked, and being a people pleaser or a pushover, or if it was the total opposite, you're starting to see things a little bit differently. So I just urge you to look at life a bit differently. Go with the flow a little bit. Let go of how you think something should go, right? Where we've been for the past probably several decades, we've been very stuck on this whole idea of outcome and how things are going to work out and how we're going to get there and the goal. It's great to have a goal. It's great to have, I want to be here by this. It's great to have that. Put it out there and then kind of let things happen, right? We're so used to forcing things and being in all this control and taking on other people's junk, and unfortunately it's not our duty to do that. It's not my job to take on how you perceive the world. It's not my job to take away your pain. If there's one thing I can tell you through going through my dad's death, if there's one thing I can tell you through all of the trials and things that I've been through in losing a job and changing jobs and changing careers completely from being an actor to being in this world, you need to kind of let go of your past. You need to realize that things are happening for you, and sometimes those things can feel like, oh, this huge thing happened to me, like there's all these diseases, why is this happening? Unfortunately, these things are happening because it's the universe, it's the world is shifting, right? Our universe is shifting, And it's forcing people to look at things differently. And I think people are a little afraid of that because what do you mean I don't have to work so hard? What do you mean I can get ahead of this? What do you mean I don't need to be stressed chronically? What do you mean I don't need to work in this horrible job? What do you mean I don't need to be around that toxic person or that toxic family member? No, you don't. Okay. So I'm urging my clients, I'm urging you to start looking and start taking. And when I say taking deep breaths, I don't mean like actually physically. Start to, like, on a spiritual level, take a deep breath. Like, the universe is working for you, but you need to allow it to work for you. You need to, like, sort of enjoy the ride of this and let go of what the universe is. I think a lot of these sicknesses and deaths and things like that are happening, it's the universe's way of punching us all in the face and saying, what this thing that worked over here, it doesn't work anymore. So you either need to let it go or I'll make you let it go. Okay, so we're constantly getting these signs and these clues, but because we're so go, 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 we're not listening. We're not paying attention. So I just, again, I'm going to say this word again. I urge you to try not to be so reactive. We're in a lot of, like, there's a lot of things happening, and you need to kind of not be so reactive. If that means you need to take a break from the news and the Facebook and the Instagram, all that stuff, just give it a break for a little bit. That would be what I tell you to do, right? Give it a break. That would be some advice. Don't listen to everybody. Don't get wrapped up in all the drama. Don't get wrapped up in other people's drama, because a lot of people like to pull you into their stuff to make, because they don't want to feel it. So they vent, and in that venting, they don't sit in their tension enough, right? We're used to not sitting in the tension, and when you don't sit in your own stuff and sit in your tension, what ends up happening is that you don't take action to get out of it, because it's almost like a deflation, right? You have this big bubble, and when you're in that big bubble and tension and pressure all happen at once, it's like, okay, if you don't deflate it, all that energy is going to force you to make action and get out of it. But if you slowly start to vent out and let that pressure out, guess what happens? You stop taking any action, because all that pressure, it's almost like every time I say it and talk about it and allow the drama, what happens is that all that pressure starts to slowly seep out, and you don't feel this pull and push to get out of your situation. So keep the pressure build, and you will get out of there. Okay. So the reason why you may be feeling a little stuck, or why there's a lot happening, or why isn't this thing working out for me? It's because we're in a shift, a big shift right now. And what was working, the foundations that a lot of people have had set and thought would work for the rest of their lives, doesn't work anymore. It's a natural shift of progress, and a natural shift in energy. So just go with it. Try not to be so rigid and structured. I know it's hard. I've done it. I've been the rigid. I've been in that, like, hard structure and stubbornness. And the more I've flown with life and with where I'm being taken, life's gotten a lot easier. So again, that would be my advice for you moving forward. I hope this helps you. Go with the flow a little bit more. As hard as it may be, try to just take it day by day, be present, and have a great one. And I'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much.